Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. You know, what sucked about growing up was, as a dude named Alex and last name Silva, naturally I would shorten my name, right? My full name is Alexander, but you know, back then, when you were a kid, that just seemed kind of lame and too long for certain people. They wouldn't want to call me by my full name, you know, kids at least. And even, you know, sometimes you can feel embarrassed by your name being that long. It tended to get me not like a nerdy feel, but like, oh, he's got a long name. His name's not like short like Chris or Mike or Zach or Josh. It's Alexander. And, you know, not to say that those names aren't shorter versions of their full names. Mine just felt longer, which, you know, it is longer, and it's spelled with more letters than most other names. So I went by Alex growing up as a kid, even to this day. You know, if you're born in Alexander, you go by Alex, and everybody does. And when you're a kid, when I was very young, you would always do like this thing with your papers and with your homework. You would always put your first name and then the last letter of your last name and then a dot. What does that make it for me? Alex S. Right? Period. The problem with that is sometimes growing up, teachers, even other classmates, counselors, superiors would read it as Alexis for some reason. Now, there's nothing wrong with being named Alexis. You know, it's a beautiful name. It also, for the most part, I feel like is more owned by females, by the ladies. And when you're a young kid, as my age, you know, as I was, being called Alexis wasn't very fun. I hated it. It was always like one of the things I hated so much about my name was how some people would just not even mispronounce it, just combined the name and the initial of my last name into Alexis. And I always thought to myself, like, can these people just not read? Are they messing with me? Do they not care? They know my name. Like the teacher at least should know my name. And it just baffled me of how that they would keep not pronouncing, but just giving me a wrong name. Like, you know how Alexis is spelled, right? It's typically spelled Alexis. It's not just Alexs. That's just not the spelling. So either I went through my entire life of people, you know, just making fun and just calling me that, or they straight up couldn't read. And I like to think of it as they couldn't read because it made me feel good inside. I was like, oh, this guy can't read. My name is clearly Alex S. for my last name, the first letter of my last name, like you told us all to write. So why the hell is Mike G easier to wrap your head around, but Alex S, you go to Alexis? Like, it makes no sense. So that was pretty much my entire elementary career in school. You know, I was called Alexis. I would have to correct them and be like, no, it's Alex. Get it right. It might have been because I was so quiet back then and I didn't say much. I still kind of do that, from time to time when I'm with like new people, new situations, new environments. I tend to be a little bit more on the quieter side. But as you guys have listened and known, I have been to be, more vocal when I get more comfortable. I let the true me out, the true me, which I think is a student of comedy, a entertaining person, a lovable human being, and a treat to the world, for real. I believe I am a treat. Some people will be like, "Oh, he's a menace. He's a plague." I've been called that a couple times because I'm so infectious. Well, you know what? I think I'm a plague of. I am a plague, but a plague of comedy, and a plague of love, and a plague of joy. For real, truly, I believe that I am. I mean, you gotta think of yourself at a higher standard, like myself. Even though as a kid I was never a super smart kid. Trust me, I know I have the documents to back it up. No, I'm not talking about report cards. Those have been burned, thrown away, shredded. Get out of my face. I mean, I probably could ask my mother, "Hey, Mom, do you have my report card when I was in 5th grade?" She'd be like, "Nah." But you know what I do have? I have your bronze student honor roll that you can see. And what a crazy thing to give a student, for their brain capacity, for their IQ, for their intelligence. The honor roll document, diploma, if you will. I wasn't like a smart kid growing up. Hand to God, I just wasn't. And my teachers, and every teacher, let everybody know who the smart people were and who were the dummies. I would say from like not year, but 1st grade all the way up until maybe 8th grade is when we got taught who was smart and who was dumb. The smart people, they got the principal's honor roll or the gold honor roll or the, whatever, superintendent's honor roll, whatever, however, wherever it maxed out in elementary school, they got that. And there were some people growing up that I thought, how the hell did they get that? And I did not. And then where am I at? Bronze, B, not even getting it sometimes. I'm like, holy crap. I'm really dumb. But one year, I'll never forget this. 1 year, I got the A honor roll. I think it might have been in the 4th grade. And the 4th grade, to this day, I believe was the peak of my smartness. The peak of my smartness was in the 4th grade. Because I had a badass teacher. He was a total badass. And we had a lot of fun in class. Like, he made school fun. And the best part was, almost every Friday, for like the last like maybe 45 minutes to an hour of school, we would just go outside and have fun. We would either play like with frisbees, flag football, kickball, dodgeball, just chill out on the monkey bars with our entire class. And now that I think about it, I think a lot of other classes started to do that because they saw that we were doing that and it was basically like a reward for being, doing well in the classroom. The last hour, 30, 45 minutes, we would just chill out on a Friday. It was the best. And a bunch of other teachers caught on to that and did it too. That way, I think like the entire grade even did it at one point. And it was the best. That's when I had like the most fun in school. I had like, pretty decent grades. Like I said, A honor roll, I believe. Projects were fun. Homework was not that bad. And I just had fun. And I think that because the teacher that I had was so cool, made it fun to learn. Like that A honor roll came by, and I'm like, oh man, I feel smart. I feel like I actually have achieved something besides the B honor roll or nothing. And I still to this day, I don't think I've ever been smarter than me in the fourth grade. I did times tables so quick. You wouldn't believe how quick I was able to do those. Third grade, second grade, even fifth grade after that, I struggled. I couldn't do them. It was like I forgot how to do math. I still can't really do math. Math has never been my strongest subject. I'll be honest. The Pythagoras theorem, or PEMDAS, the order of operations, whatever it's called, algebra, geometry, no, not my strength. Not nearly close to my strength. In fact, school wasn't really my strong suit. At least class was. Lunch was, though. I loved lunch. If they gave lunch a grade, I would have gotten an A+++. Not just for my size, but, the grade itself. Yeah, I was the best at lunch. No one could outdo me. There were seconds. You bet your ass I was getting seconds. No doubt about it. I was the one every day anticipating, yo, bro, think they're going to get seconds? You think we can get seconds? What about thirds? How about thirds? No one had that kind of mindset when it came to lunch than me, And I ate up all the shit. All of it. Burritos, chicken sandwiches, burgers, hot dogs, pizza pockets, whatever they sold, I would just, provided, I guess. I would eat that shit all up with a chocolate milk and some fruit. Oh my God. Give me fifths even, If lunch was a grade, and I know it shouldn't be, because that just, well, I mean, it depends what you eat, right? Like, if I eat, a lot of fruit and a lot of vegetables, that's pretty good. It's much better than eating a lot of pizza and a lot of beef and a lot of fried stuff, right? Like tater tots and fries, right? I mean, you really should balance out your food. I mean, I feel like that's common knowledge. Again, I'm no doctor, but I feel like that's common nutrition to balance out your diet. I'm not a doctor, by the way. But I think that if you were to overeat of one product, of one food type, you'd rather be fruit and vegetables over fried, processed food. Then we can kind of all agree on that. But again, lunch was my strong suit. And if lunch was part of the honor roll, I think I would have been principal's honor roll, for sure, without a doubt, if you think about it. Missed opportunities, but again, I wasn't a school guy. I really wasn't, big on school. So, yeah. What's kind of been a little puzzling to me, and I think, this is going to be a bit of a reach for this show. This topic, and I kind of talked about it a little bit last week, but not really all that into it, because I didn't really dive into it. I didn't really see what was beneath. I didn't dive into the ocean of, I guess, problems and just absolute stupidity that surrounded this topic. But apparently there's been a war brewing online and on the internet. And it's not really what you think. But, I never would have expected it. But, I mean, people surprise me in many, many, many ways every day. But this one is over The Little Mermaid. There is a war going on about a fictitious mermaid. Because apparently they don't like who was casted to play Ariel, who is not real, by the way. And the actress who's playing her, Halle Bailey, is a black woman. But You know, there's people who I guess like take it to heart. Like, no, Ariel must be white and redheaded. But I'm like, hold on, like, that's why you're mad? You're mad about that? You're not mad that they're remaking the movie? I mean, I can care less who plays it. And that little clip that they showed, I thought she looked fantastic and sounded amazing. I'm like, oh, hey, yeah. I mean, like, she is obviously very talented, and like, okay, yeah, she can be Ariel. But I think people out there, I guess these people don't have brains. The big picture is that they're remaking the movie, something that we've already had, we don't need to see it. Do we need to see these remakes again? I mean, like, I feel like this, I'm just retreading here, but it's like, why do we need to see more Little Mermaid? I guess, a reimagining and cool, whatever. The actress choice is, none of my concern. I definitely think that it's a awesome choice, but the underlining stupidity of like, of the casting choice and why that's made such a riff in the internet has actually puzzled me. I've never been one to take part in actually vocalizing or being a part of like internet outrage. And I think with seeing how this has played out and how far it's gone, and literally like it feels like a war is taking place. I mean, I'm cool with it. It just makes me feel like, I don't gotta be. Why? It just makes no sense. And I feel like, I didn't need to like serve an opinion on it, for sure, at all. Like no one else needs to either. But it's like, interesting. Like, why spend so much time on something that like really doesn't matter? Who cares who plays Ariel? I mean, as long as the movie's tight, as long as she plays Ariel good, it doesn't really matter. Now, I'll be honest with you. Having said that, do I think the movie itself will be any good? Well, I mean, like, if you look at the track record of these Disney remakes, I doubt it. I really do doubt it. As much as she's going to look good and sound good as Ariel, the story is probably going to be crap. It's probably going to be crap. And that's what we really need to be outraged about, is that, again, they keep making these movies, these remakes. It's like we don't need them, though. It's nice. It's cool. It's fun for the hope for it to be good. But considering their track record on how well these movies actually are, as a movie, as a thing that you spend money on to watch and to see if the story is any good, will it be as good as the original in terms of filmmaking with story and plot? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think that we can hope. We can all hope and pray. But I'm not sure. Entirely, I'm not sure. And don't hate the casting. Of course not. It just puzzled me. It really did. And like to see like it's a cartoon. It's a live action remake of a cartoon, which already isn't real. I just don't get it. Why spend that much energy on even protruding the negativity of that stuff? The negativity of like, even media nowadays. Like, if something is a hint of, I guess you could say, progressive or woke, there's a certain amount of audience, or not audience, but people that will jump on it, make a video about it, post that, and just keep that same energy going. And like bash things for like a little it's like one thing that they can just, piggyback off of, make a video about it, and get a ton of views. And then you look at what they keep posting. It's like the same thing over and over and over again. And at first it's like, why would anybody want to do that and have that much negativity around them? And then it's like, oh, I mean, this is their job. Like their job is negativity and bashing and destroying before they even see anything, and picking apart things, and just basically anti-fun and anti-enthusiastic, and trying to find the worst thing possible in a form of media, entertainment, so on and so on, and just kind of harp on that. But then it's like, oh wait, this is their brand. This is their business. They're in the business of bashing and I guess being, I hate to use this word, being toxic, a little bit of a toxicity within a fan base, and just keep riding that train. Now I get it. It's their business. This is how they get views, clicks, likes, how they make money. And it's just like, look, I mean, like, you don't want to see it, like, you hate it, but at the same time, it's kind of their brand. It's like their whole thing. That's kind of what they do now. And not to say that, that's all they ever want to do. I mean, I don't know what goes on in their head, how they think about things. But, you look at these videos or posts, and then you see the creator and you're like, oh, shoot, like everything they make is like the same thing. And everything they make gets so many views and like likes and shares. It's like, whoa, like, okay, now I get it. They got a big audience. They got to please that audience. They got to give them what they want. Even though, who knows, what if they don't feel that same way as their audience? What do? Do you keep pandering to that audience, or do you simply state your mind? I don't know. I'm lucky I'm not in that position, that I don't have to, keep like this, this same thing over and over again, the same shtick, the same agenda type thing. I don't know. I just think that, spawning off from the Little Mermaid outrage from a lot of people out there, which to me I still don't get and don't realize why that type of energy is being spent on a movie that's not real, and it's based off a cartoon. Yeah, I said cartoon. I'm sorry. Animation. My bad. I don't know. It just that kind of it just got me thinking of why people like that do that. But now I think that I've hashed it out a bit, and I've realized that it is just about money. It's about what they, their money and their, their audience, keeping the checks coming, because YouTube itself, the internet itself, is kind of not a for sure thing. If you think about it, you could have an idea to make a channel and cover one thing because in the spur of the moment and in the time, it is hot. It is a hot button topic, and people want to consume that type of content, like back in the day, maybe 2012, 2010s, early mid 2010s, around there. I would say like one of the biggest topics or biggest forms of content that people would consume back then was phone reviews. Phone reviews back then, especially when new phones came out or when new phones were announced, those were like really big videos that a lot of people would consume. And, from multiple people. Marquise Brownlee, MKHB, I think that's his channel's name, but the guy Marquise Brownlee is the person's name. Unbox Therapy, those guys were like a hit back then. I would say that they're still a hit now, but they definitely weren't as big or get as many views as they did back then. And now they have like other types of videos. I think Unbox Therapy now has like a podcast, so they kind of shifted their business. They've shifted their how they produce content now. It's like a little bit different now, which is cool, and it's part of the game. You got to grow, you got to change, you got to adapt, stuff like that. And I guess in the moment now, going back to the outrageness, people just like the outrage. People like the, to, I guess, call things out. And people want outrage. People want to start shit. I don't know. It's. I've never been the person to start shit like that on the internet. Maybe because I'm just a weakling and a bitch, but I just don't want that kind of heat. If I'm going to start shit, I'll start shit with my friends and possibly bring it to the show. Maybe, possibly. Maybe not, though. It just doesn't really seem like my alley to bring things up like that, or to complain about every little thing. Like, why is, people complaining like, why is Ariel not white? What? It really makes no sense. It's not real. It's not real. It doesn't matter. Is it affecting you? Is it really? I mean, come on. And it kind of goes back to like the whole outrage on Lola Bunny. Like, why did they change Lola Bunny from being hot to not hot? It's like, it's a cartoon bunny. It's a Looney Tune. Okay. Why do they make a green M&M not hot? It's an M&M. It's not real. I mean, it's a real candy, yes. I don't know. It's just weird stuff. Weird stuff going on out there. And brought to you by me. Sometimes you got to cover this kind of stuff because it puzzles me. Not as much as, other people, but it definitely puzzles me. And, I guess that's just kind of how we are right now as a society and as a peoples. When you got an outlet to voice literally anything you want to say, you just find people. People find you and everything. Speaking of being found, what actually kind of surprised me, I'll be honest, I was not expecting this one bit. I went on to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva YouTube page yesterday. And it was crazy because one of the videos, one of the episodes I posted a couple weeks ago had like 90-some views. And the one before that had like 200. And I was like, wait a minute, did I like find an audience or something? But no new subscribers, nothing. Just I'm pretty sure I was attacked, or my account was attacked by bots, some kind of algorithm or something like that. I guess was just I guess I was found or something. I don't know. It was so bizarre because normally I get like one view on the episodes on YouTube, which is fair. Podcasts are usually, I think, meant to be, listened to on, for me at least, like when I listen to podcasts, I listen to them. I don't really watch them because one, I know what the person who is talking looks like normally, because I have seen a couple clips, and I just kind of like use my imagination to kind of picture how they are. And that's kind of like what radio is kind of like too. I feel like you don't just listen to them to listen to them. Like sometimes you do. It's good because radio broadcasters like have that ability with their voice for you to paint a picture of what they kind of look like. That way you can kind of, listen to them for very long. Also, some people just don't care what they look like and just listen to the voice. But that's kind of like where I'm at. I know what they look like, or I don't need to know what they look like. What they're doing with their voice and talking is enough for me. So I'm a listener, and I'm like, you know what? No one really listens or watches this podcast on YouTube because it's just a logo for like an hour and that's it. I'm like, who would do that? That's why I was so puzzled and surprised. Like, what is this? And I'm like, okay, this is definitely bots. For sure, this is bots. And I was just like, okay. I mean, cool. It definitely caught me off guard. I'm like, what? I got all these viewers, but who would listen? Who found this? And then I'm like, bots. It's got to be. And what's crazy is I'm not really sure what a bot is. I think we all kind of are in this like limbo of hearing like things on the news and even on social media posts, even in gaming as well. This term comes up, bot. Now, when I think of bot, I think of a computer in a basement with AI installed doing things, giving likes, giving comments in a dark room created by some mad programmer or some crazy software engineer programmed it to wreak havoc amongst humanity. That's what I think. I think a bot is normally done for evil. Because, you hear about it in the news, Russian bots, Chinese bots, bots in Warzone, bots on Facebook, bots on Twitter. Elon Musk is like, hey, Twitter, how much percent of the users on Twitter are real humans and how much are bots? Bots have a bad aurora stigma in media and in pop culture. So, all clues lead to bots infected my channel on YouTube. Again, I didn't gain one other subscriber, but I got like over 300 views. So it's like for 2 videos, 2 episodes. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I got played by bots. That's fair. That's totally fair, I guess. If bots are allowed to do that, then they're allowed to do that. And there's not really much I can do about that, right? But it's crazy. It's crazy to think about that. I never would have thought that would happen. Never would have. So now I really just kind of stick to the numbers on my podcast analytics and stick to that. That's got to be the truth. But it was weird. Definitely a weird thing. A lot of people who probably have YouTube channels probably experience the same thing. They go days, weeks, months of years posting content, and then they get, boom, bombarded by something. Something hits them, they hit an algorithm nerve, and then they're just in there, and they get a bunch of views. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe over 300 people got recommended this show because of maybe the title or something else, and then they just, clicked on it. Like, I'm gonna check it out right now, live on this show, just to confirm what I'm saying is true. And if you are also listening, you could check as well. That if you also listen, subscribe to the channel, or even like you're not subscribed at all, just type it in right now on YouTube, Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Go to my content. Check out the views. If you go to Trial by Fire, 2 weeks ago, 13 days ago, I'm looking at right now 212 views. Trial by Fire. Last week, an embarrassing waste of time, 97 views. It's right there. Check it out. I'm not lying. I'm not pulling your leg. Puzzling. Truly don't know what to make of that. But I'll take it. I'll take the views any day. You just got to take what you can get. I mean, I think we're all kind of in that situation now, right? Take what you can get. I think everybody's like been a part of that. That should be like a metaphorical thing that we all live our lives by. Because, you never know. You just never know. What if food runs out? The well runs dry. You got to take what you can get. It's like, an athlete, signing a contract. He may not want to be there. He may not be having fun or wanting to be with that team, but he's got to take what he can get because his family needs it. You got to take what you can get. I kind of wanted to move on to more controversial stuff. Controversial in terms of in the gaming industry. And I got some opinions on some things that have occurred in this. One of them being the leaks of Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, my friend brought this to my attention. I did not believe him at first. I said, "You got to be kidding me, right? This game's like been rumored to come out between like the next couple years and then 10 years after that." Just knowing the track record of Rockstar taking their sweet time with their games, for better or for worse. I mean, I think that they're pretty damn good at launch, at least, and they usually get better. Some people might like it at launch and then say, "Whoa, where's more content?" Which I totally understand that argument as well. But for me, a simpleton, a simple gamer, a casual, I think that they do a pretty damn good job. But in the wake of that, they've been leaked. There are videos of Grand Theft Auto 6 gameplay confirming that it is going back to Vice City, Miami, where I'm pretty sure Grand Theft Auto Vice City takes place in. And there's not just one video. There's not just a screen grab or a picture. There is several dozens of videos out there of these being leaked, of these leaked videos, of people doing like holdups in like a little mini mart, just walking around, running, shooting stuff, just spinning the camera around. And you can see because like there in the footage, there's like the avatar, like the character in the game, and like a bunch of code around it on the screen, and it's been confirmed legit by Rockstar. And they're heartbroken by it. Like, it's just not what they wanted. They weren't expecting it. It's kind of ruined everything for them, that for their game to be leaked so early. I'm sure that they wanted that reveal, right? They wanted to reveal it to the public when they wanted to. Like, yep, Grand Theft Auto 6 is back in Vice City. Like, that would have been such a cool reveal, right? Unfortunately, it was leaked. The question is, why? Why was this leaked? I've got a couple answers that might be controversial here. That might be shedding light on the gaming industry. Now, this is just an opinion. This is not, I have no sources. I got no sources at all. I have no interaction, no connection to Rockstar one bit. I assure you that. But just, having seen the scope of the gaming industry and seeing how things can play out for certain studios and how they've handled employee conditions, working conditions, and complaints. And, we've heard things about, multiple studios of overworking their employees. They like to call it crunch. I think that's a candy bar, but whatever, they can call it crunch. Crunch culture. I guess that's what you would call it. Overworking. Overtime and just, being burnt out. Right? You hear that a lot. It seems like to me, now this is just speculation, but what if there's a lot of employees there that are being worked to the bone by Rockstar? And you know what? They're just fed up. They're not having fun. They're not enjoying making their game. And they got so pissed off at this, they decided to leak it. Now that I think has got to be the number one speculation on this. This stuff just does not just leak. There's no way. And the fact that it's game footage it's even more rarer to leak a game footage of a video game being developed than a movie being shot or a movie being edited. 100%. Because you got to infiltrate through all this software and stuff like that and all this stuff, and just to hit record and tape that and save it on your computer and extract it and then upload it. And how do you upload that? You got to be secretive. You got to be sneaky. And you got to be like so pissed off, I would assume, because maybe work conditions are bad. Maybe the employer sucks. Maybe the executives are being bitches. Who knows? I think that that's got to be like the leading reason why this was leaked. And how it was leaked. Someone was pissed off at Rockstar and decided to screen record their monitor and just leak it to the world without even giving a damn anymore, without even giving a shit or what his job was, what his future employment was going to be. He just did not care. I feel like that's the only reason why these things get leaked. And then there was a thing about Diablo getting leaked. I don't really care about Diablo, but like that also happened. It's just got to be like employees pissed off at their employers. It has to be. I mean, like why would they leak it if it wasn't for that? And it does suck. It sucks because it would have been much better to see it revealed when they wanted it to, when they were good and ready. But if there's some truth to it being because people are pissed off, maybe there's an investigation to be held. Maybe they need to investigate Rockstar. I know it sounds, 100% bad. And there's like nothing good to be taken out of this. But if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we need to really pay attention to what's going on here. And if these leaks continue, if not just Grand Theft Auto and Diablo 4 get leaked, what about other games in the future? If they decide to get leaked, not decide, but if they do if they do indeed get leaked, then what do we do? I mean, I don't know. It's puzzling. It definitely is like we got a mess on our hands. Like Rockstar's in like DEFCON 4 or 1. I don't know the order of like tragicness of DEFCONs, but like it's just not good. It's pretty terrible. And it needs to be solved. Before it gets even messier, I think. If you don't get behind it, the press is going to go all in like what's going on there. Is it a sweatshop? Are people straight up being worked to the bone? Like I said, like what's happening there? I don't know if anything else has come out from Rockstar about that, about work environments or whatever. But man, I've had this take about developers being lazy. Truly, I have. But in this case, if they are not being lazy developers and it's just like, them being treated that badly, then I think they got a point. They definitely got me on their side now. Unless they are being lazy, like Halo developers, then I'm not for you. But if you're being, treated badly by your studio heads, if for that matter, then you've got me on your side, and I will continue to fight the fight for you. It's tragic though. Definitely not what they wanted, and it could lead to more. Who knows? I never would have thought that Grand Theft Auto 6 would have been leaked, and leaked this much. Like, woof. I mean, it just doesn't. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Something that was good though. I'm gonna bring some good news into this. Now, at the time of this recording, and then when this gets posted, I have not yet played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 yet. It is not in my grasp. At least the beta is not yet in my grasp. However, I have seen the gameplay. both the multiplayer and the Warzone. And I have to say, I think I really like what I'm seeing. The look and the feel, the movement, the speed of the game overall is exactly what I wanted. And you know what? If we can just, if I can just dap myself up for a bit, I was correct. Not correct, but I got what I wanted. Slide canceling is pretty much not in play for this game. At least with the way that we've known how to do it. Slide canceling is pretty much not in play. Which, as a casual and someone who did dabble in a bit of slide canceling, who has tasted the forbidden fruit of slide canceling, who has done that, who continues to do it just out of sheer habit of playing Warzone in 2022, I am so happy that they got rid of it, because there's just a stupidity and just a stupid feel and a campy, candy-ass look and feel when you do that. And a sweatiness that I just really, because of a certain mechanic and that they didn't fix, and it looks funny, it just kind of stayed and was part of the Battle Royale Warzone culture. And I'm so happy that it's going away, because in all honesty, it just seems so stupid that that's even a mechanic, and that it's actually faster than just sprinting ahead. It just makes the game, to me, not as serious. And I'm glad that it's gone. And I like all the changes to Warzone, I'll be honest. The looting system, I think, is much cleaner. I think that it looks, not as cluttered as just a box just splooging out items and splooging out equipment. I enjoy that. I think that it looks more clean to the eye. How weapons are just on the ground, face on the ground, not just floating. How armor plates and medic packs and syringes and all that are kind of like within the world, like on shelves and on, medicine cabinets and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. It's almost like more of a realistic and less of a campiness that I didn't know that I wanted until I was so sick of the current Warzone. And now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, yes, I want this. Keep it like that. The map itself, Al-Mazrad, not sure on the pronunciation, looks incredible. I will say I'm super happy that it's a Middle Eastern type of map. I think that it's so cool and just brings like a really cool modern feel to it. The fact that there's also like a river and water in it too, adding a whole nother element of gameplay to Warzone, in my opinion, is sick. Because Warzone's water and their lack of it has been very well noted in Verdansk and Caldera. They just don't have any water. And if they have water, you can only go from to your knees. You can't even crouch, or you can't even go prone in it. It's just like an aesthetic to make it look like, oh, look, we got water, but it's really nothing. You can't even slide in it. It's pretty stupid. Now you could use boats. You can swim beneath the water. You could be tactical with it and not get shot at and kind of evade bullets that way. It's very, very cool and dynamic. I like that a lot. It adds to the realism. It adds to the intensity, I think. And it adds to being more tactical. And I think that's what I'm getting out of this map right now. And this new Warzone is it's more tactical. And you have to think more. And from going from a game that was Warzone in the beginning, when you had to learn it, it was very, tactical, but also very fast-paced, kind of campy, but very fun. Now you're going to a more tactical, with a I think a Warzone with a little bit more of a learning curve than the previous one, with and also more intense. That I think, from what I've seen, I gotta say it's a huge W for me, a huge W, and so much to say that watching other people's and other people, I mean by big time streamers react to it and play it for the first time and really sink their teeth into that, for like at least a good 5 hours, I think, at the Call of Duty Next event, was very telling of where these people are at with Warzone. You got my opinion. I love it. I think it's very cool. It's new. The map is sick. The guns look pretty cool. I love the changes for the loadout, the buy boxes, the stuff on the ground, how you loot. I love all that shit. The more tacticality and the intensity, I think, of it, just naturally is going to be more intense. The one thing I will say, I don't appreciate or really care all that much for the AI, at least in the beta from what I've seen in these streams. Don't really care a whole lot about that, but besides that, I'm really digging it. Now I want to get to some of what these big-time streamers are saying about it, because I think that they're... You can kind of tell, like, some of them don't want to learn anything new. And I think that that's not good for video games and video game development. Because if you follow these streamers, you know that for the most part, they have enjoyed Warzone and have enjoyed the game for the nearly 2 years it's been with us, right? Warzone came out in March of 2020. Like, I think it was March 10th. So 3 days before the world shut down, right? And we pretty much have had the same exact game up until this point, and up until when Warzone 2.0 launches. Everybody knows the game inside and out. Even me. And I don't even play all that much, but I know how this game flows. And I know what works and what doesn't work. And how to play good and how to just, not play it at all. I mean, not play it at all, but like the wrong way to play the game, I think. So when I hear comments of like, I don't like the how the buy box has different tabs and you got to read it, and it's so slow. Warzone is fast paced. It shouldn't be taking this long. Now I'm paraphrasing, but that's the gist of what I'm hearing, of what they're saying. Some of them are saying. And I'm thinking, like, you motherfuckers. You don't understand, like, your first impressions within, like, a week, maybe a couple days, you will be used to how the game flows, the new pace. These comments are going to be irrelevant within the first week of the game's launch. And then they'll be like, I appreciate that it's new, I want it to be new, yet you bash on every little change and say, like, it's not like Warzone. Well, no, you're right, it's not Warzone. It's Warzone 2.0. It's not the same game. I mean, what did you expect? I think that if you literally got, like, copy and paste the same game with just better graphics and a new map, I don't think that you would be as excited as I am, or, like, as you should be. Like, you have to understand, like, what is the point of making something new if you're just going to retread and do the same exact thing, just with a new skin? You understand what I'm saying? Like, people are getting mad at, like, the looting, how it's, like, not in front of them now. Like, they have to now pick stuff, because you don't just, like I said, the loot just doesn't splooge out of the boxes. You have to open it, and it brings up a little menu of what's in it. You click on what you want, and then you go on your way. You know how easy that's going to be within the first week? You're going to get used to it like that. It's going to be second nature. Like, you complaining how it's not how it was is just a waste of breath. I mean, I don't mean to be harsh. You have the right to express your opinion, of course. But I just feel like these little things are going to change, not because the developers change them, because you are going to adapt to it. I mean, I just feel like you're wasting your time complaining about that. And I might be wasting my time complaining about that, you know? But I just feel like, you know, these streamers, you know, they play games for a different reason that you and I play. Some of them do. Others don't. Others probably play the same way that you and I play, to have fun. Most of them are in the content business. They need to make fast-paced, flashy content for kids to view and for them to get millions and millions of views to get money. So I get it. Streamers, you want it to be fast-paced and brain-dead and just pick up the ammo when I run over it and just, don't change at all. I want my slide canceling back. I want to be fast again. I want my loadout. Whatever. Like, it's just like, how many, like, big-time streamers are there out there that actually, like, make a shit ton of money and have a huge ass following, like, a million plus, like a million and maybe 2 million, right? Maybe about 100, 150, 200 top streamers that stream Call of Duty and get like a ton of viewers, versus how many people will just buy the game and play the game because they enjoy the game. Millions, right? Hundreds of millions, right? So it's like, you want them to change up their game because a couple hundred people aren't going to be able to make content as fast-paced as they were with the current Warzone? I don't see a reason for you to change the game up that much, to suit their content creating needs. I get it. I respect the hustle, but you also got to adapt. You have to adapt. There's so many people out there that also were mad that there's no loadout, at least in the beta that they played, or the alpha, whatever. To me, I was incredibly happy that the loadout was not going to be in Warzone, because then you're not playing the map. You're not playing what the map gives you. And I think that with Warzone, that has been its signature thing, is that you get to pick your loadout that you've made for multiplayer and then put it into Warzone. That's like kind of like been their staple and what's kind of separated them apart from other battle royales. But other battle royales also have huge audiences and they like them for that. And I get that, Warzone is more adapting that from other battle royales. You play what the map gives you. And, you get what you get, and then you survive. Me personally, I think that that's pretty sick. It makes it more of a challenge. It makes it more harder to win. It makes it more worth it, in my opinion, to win also. And listen, man, I'm all for that. Because I just play Warzone now to get my loadout and try to rip as many people as possible. Kill as many people as possible. And unfortunately, that's kind of where battle royales get their most... Battle royale content creators get their most views from, is killing a bunch of people in the mode. In a single game of battle royale. Is how many people they light up, and that's just, kind of where the attention goes to. And if you can't have loadouts and OP meta weapons that will guarantee you a much better opportunity to get as many kills as possible, if that is stripped away, I can see why they would complain about that. But it also kind of shows you how they don't really want to change or adapt to a new game that is not as candy-ass as Warzone, with pickup perks and whatever loadout you want in almost any other gun that has been created in the past 3 years of Call of Duty games. Obviously, why would you want that to change? Why would you not want to make videos about metas and new trends, this, that, and the other? I understand why. But I think that that's just kind of making the games lazier and not as innovative and not different enough. I like where this one's going. I really do. The loadouts are like not as candy ass. You have to like, I think, buy guns or buy attachments or certain like guns you can buy. Not specifically like loadouts and all that. It's a little bit more different, so it's not as candy ass. And I like that about it. I really, really do. No slide canceling either. They need to keep that. They really do. Because I feel like with the gameplay itself, it could be intense enough for people to want to keep playing it. You know? But again, I'm not a content creator for Battle Royale games. I'm not a Warzone streamer. I don't think the way they do. And I think the way that they think has far too much influence on how these games are developed. It really is. Not everybody just slide cancels like crazy because, Tim the Tap Man or Nick Merckx does it. Not everybody watches them too. I do, but I'm not going to let that influence how I want a game to be developed and a game to be, changed or modified or adapt to a new way, or my ability to want to adapt to a new game. I feel like that's just silly. That's silly thinking. That's just lazy to me, Just hearing the outcries. Why is this not out? Why is loadouts not in? It's like, you just want it so you can rip a bunch of people and get views. Like, you can't tell me that's not like one of the reasons why you want loadouts back in. It's very obvious. Why do you not like that there's tabs that you have to open up for the buy box? Because you just like going down by muscle memory to get a UAV and back into the action. I mean, you're going to be able to do that anyway. It's just going to take a little bit longer. But it's going to be a little bit longer for everybody else as well. It's like, you're not at a disadvantage here. You might think you are at the beginning, but it's like, you're not. Like, we're all going to be playing the same fucking game. Just relax. Take it easy. You will adapt. My point is, you will adapt to the new game. You will have fun with the new game. And if you don't like it, you can go back and play Warzone 1. If that's still going to be a thing. I'm not sure if that is. Will they delete that game? I doubt it. Because people have spent so much money on that game, they probably can't just delete it. And I doubt that they can migrate everything that they've unlocked and bought in that game to Warzone 2. I don't know. Like, it's crazy. It's weird how these games are right now. How everything that from 2019 and on is pretty much all in one hub, in the Warzone hub. It's crazy, But that's just kind of where we're at right now. I'm all for it. I'm ready for the changes. No slide canceling, badass. No loadouts, awesome. Give it to me. I want to try something new. I'm sick of the current Warzone, even though I play it all the time. I want a new game. I want a new experience. I want something fresh. I want something new. If not all of it's good at, good changes, I'm sure they'll adapt and, pick and choose how to make it better, I just want them to not take all these streamers' opinions and thoughts and make it their sole source of how to fix or change their game. Just kind of, listen to the community as well and what other players say, not just the streamers or the content creators. I know they're trying to fuel a business. I get it. I really do. Business, you got to make money. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. But also just kind of, don't just pick and choose a couple people that are super popular. Pick me as well, I want you. I think that you want to hear from me as well. I feel like I got some good thoughts. One last thing. I saw Andor, the new Star Wars spinoff. If you don't know, it's starring Diego Luna as Cassian Andor. He was one of the main characters in the Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Pretty decent movie in my opinion. Not that great, but Definitely better with age, I think, than the sequel trilogy for sure. First 3 episodes premiered. I watched them, consumed them. I thought it was actually pretty good. This word is being thrown around a lot, that it's more adult. I don't know if I would say that. I'd say it's more mature. I feel like people need to look up what adult and mature mean in the dictionary, and then make better word choices. I think that the show is definitely more mature than any other Star Wars property you've ever seen before. Hands down. It's much more intense. It feels much more gritty and realistic than even like Mandalorian or whatever. More of a serious vibe, which I dig. I think it's pretty cool. The story's definitely surrounding Cassian Andor. Definitely a lot of character development there. As other characters as well, side characters too. Really cool action too. A lot of stakes. Cinematography's great. Location awesome. Dialogue and acting also brilliant. I think maybe the best dialogue of any Star Wars movie I've ever seen. A little tad bit slow, just a tad, but I think it all really pays off with the 3 episodes that we got at the premiere or at the launch. Definitely not for everybody. If you expect lightsabers, might want to dial it back a bit. That's not really a spoiler. I think you can tell with the show's trailers, you're probably not going to get a lot of that. I mean, there's definitely room for more. I think there's like 9 more episodes of the show. So who knows? We might get more. We might actually get some lightsabers, but kind of tone it back on the Star Wars-isms in this show. It's definitely got the least amount of that. Again, it feels like more realistic and grittier and more down to earth, I would say. And not as like evil versus good, heroes versus villains, stuff like that. It's definitely more like character based. And I think it does pretty well with that. And definitely more, excited to see where it goes. Really enjoyed these first 3 episodes. I recommend them for sure. It's decent. It's pretty good. It's definitely not. It's definitely like from the reviews and the reactions to before, they nailed it. Definitely more mature than ever before. Very, very little comedy. Very little of that Marvel-y comedy that they try to force into Star Wars. That's not there at all. Thank Christ. But we got to see where it goes, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, everybody, thank you for listening and thank you for watching. If you could like and subscribe, that would be sick. Share with your friends. Rate and review helps a lot. If you want, you can find all these episodes and on Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Remember to, if you want to DM me a message, my social media links are in the description below. And, leave a suggestion, leave a comment, what you want me to talk about, and I'll consider it. Yeah. So, again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week.